So I had a gentleman come in today with elbow pain. Call it golfer's elbow. But he's just been lifting a bunch of weights and been playing a lot of tennis. So the gripping of the tennis racket is giving him some pain. So he had pain about 6 months ago. It got so bad he just rested and then the pain went away. But now that he's doing activity again, it's coming back. So he came to me to figure out what's going on. So I asked him some other questions about how's his shoulder doing, how's the hips doing, how's the knees, and he's like, oh no, like this shoulder's always had issues, but that's for a different day. This knee, I hurt when I was a kid, but that's a different story. And what I had to educate him on is the fact that all of those things are connected. His elbow pain, long story short, was linked to his right MCL injury from his childhood. So I'll map you out today a little about how his MCL is causing his right elbow to hurt playing tennis. So first and foremost, he damaged his right MCL. So this is damaged right there. What ended up happening is this muscle here, tibialis anterior, got very, very strong to solidify for this damage there. And what happens is when this MCL collapses, it forces this hip to kind of stabilize here. So now this left groin, super strong. So we've got weak, strong, strong. So we got, this is kind of the body we're building right now. And then he wants to play tennis. Well, how is he going to play tennis if he can't really generate that hip torque because the knee is too weak and unstable to do so? So what's that going to do to the rest of his body? So because this hip caved inward, his ribs caved inward with it, which took his left shoulder. And he said, oh, my left shoulder, my scapula always has big muscle knots on it. Well, that's because when the hip comes across, the rib cage comes across with it, and then the whole torso rotates. So then the shoulder rotates out as well. And now there's a gap between his spine and his scapula. So his left one here has a big old gap right there on the left side. But because he's right hand dominant, he's playing tennis, he's hyperextending the right scapula. So then this one is going that direction. So now there's extra force happening here. So all these muscle knots that he feels in his left shoulder blade and his neck are actually there because those muscles are so weak that they have to build muscle knots around to keep the stability without it ripping. So he's got big muscle knots here because this is a big hole. This shoulder comes across, and because the rib cage is shifting this way because of the damage here and the rotation here, his torso, his rib cage on the left is pushing forward. So that means the rib cage on the right is pushing backward. The rib cage on the right is pressing back into the shoulder blade.